Today we're tackling something I find super fascinating. ADHD. But get this, we're not just talking about the
Oh,
struggles.
no, not at all.
We're flipping the script,
Absolutely.
exploring ADHD as like a superpower.
It really is a fascinating
Ah.
perspective shift. Instead of viewing ADHD as like a deficit,
Right.
we're going to look at it as like a different way to experience the world, one that, comes with its own unique set of strengths.
Exactly. And to guide our deep dive, we've got this YouTube video from ADHD Vision titled ADHD is a Curse Until You Learn This.
I love that title.
It argues that people with ADHD can achieve some pretty amazing things
Oh, yeah.
when they understand and manage, especially their brain chemistry,
Yeah.
especially this thing called dopamine.
Yeah, dopamine is so important to understanding how ADHD works. It's often called the motivation molecule because it plays a huge role in how we experience reward, pleasure, and that feeling of being in the zone.
So, lay it on me, what's the deal with dopamine and ADHD?
Well, imagine dopamine like a roller coaster.
Okay.
For folks with ADHD, the highs are higher and the lows are lower. They experience these intense dopamine swings, which is why you see that like all or nothing pattern.
Yeah.
Intense focus 1 minute, total distraction the next, super motivated, then completely apathetic.
Right. Makes sense.
All connected to how their brains handle dopamine.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Now, the video argues that by managing these dopamine fluctuations, people with ADHD can actually like level up faster
Yeah.
and achieve even greater success than neurotypical folks. Is there any science to back that up?
Oh, there's definitely a growing body of research that supports this idea. For example, there are studies that have shown that people with ADHD, they often excel in fields that require creativity, innovation, and out-of-the-box thinking. And while the dopamine roller coaster can be challenging, it also means they can tap into like incredible levels of hyperfocus and energy when they're truly engaged.
That's super interesting. So how does someone with ADHD actually beat the curse and harness that potential?
Well, the video lays out a 3-step strategy. It's actually pretty insightful for anyone, even those of us without ADHD. It starts with something they call winning the morning.
Winning the morning. Sounds intense. What does that even mean?
It's all about setting yourself up for success from the moment you wake up. The video emphasizes ditching the quick dopamine fixes and focusing on activities that give you longer-lasting energy and motivation. It's like choosing to eat a nourishing breakfast instead of grabbing a sugary donut.
Okay, I can see how that applies to anyone, but how do you make it work in real life?
Well, the video uses this great example. Instead of immediately checking your phone when you wake up, which, gives you that quick dopamine hit but then leads to a distraction spiral, try making your bed first.
I can definitely see how putting off the phone scroll would be a good thing, but making the bed, how does that tie into dopamine?
It's about more than just, like, a tidy room. Small acts of order, like making the bed, trigger a sense of control and accomplishment, which can actually reduce anxiety and release dopamine. And for people with ADHD, who often struggle with executive functioning, those small wins can have a big impact on their overall sense of well-being.
That's fascinating. It's like those small actions create like a ripple effect throughout the day.
Exactly. And that's where the second step comes in. Interest-driven living.
Interest-driven living. Okay, I'm intrigued. Tell me more.
It's all about aligning your actions with what truly excites and energizes you. Instead of forcing yourself to do things you dread, the video encourages you to identify activities that genuinely light you up.
I guess that makes sense. When you're doing something you love, you're more likely to be engaged and focused, right?
Exactly. And that feeling of effortless focus, that's what psychologists call a flow state.
Okay.
It's that sweet spot where you're so absorbed in what you're doing that time seems to fly by. And guess what?
What?
Flow states are fueled by, you guessed it, dopamine.
So it's like a positive feedback loop.
Yeah?
You do something you enjoy, you get a dopamine hit, which makes you even more engaged and motivated.
Precisely.
Yeah.
But here's where it gets a bit tricky.
Oh.
The video talks about good dopamine versus fast dopamine.
Okay, I'm all ears. Break it down for me. What's the difference?
Well, fast dopamine is like that sugary donut we were talking about.
Right.
It gives you a quick rush, but then leaves you feeling drained and craving more.
Yeah.
Think about those endless social media scrolls or binge-watching sessions. They provide instant gratification, but ultimately don't leave you feeling truly fulfilled.
So fast dopamine is like those things that give you a quick burst of pleasure, but don't really add anything to your life in the long run?
Exactly. Now, good dopamine, on the other hand, comes from activities that are inherently rewarding and leave you feeling satisfied and energized.
Okay.
Think about pursuing a hobby you love, spending time with people who matter to you, or working on a project that truly inspires you.
So good dopamine is more about the journey than the destination,
Yeah,
right?
exactly. It's about finding activities that nourish your soul, align with your values, and leave you feeling a sense of accomplishment and well-being long after you've finished. And the great thing is, everyone can benefit from incorporating more good dopamine activities into their lives.
This is all starting to make a lot of sense. So we've got winning the morning and interest-driven living. What's the third step in this ADHD superpower plan?
The third step is arguably the most profound one, finding your mission.
Finding your mission, that sounds pretty deep. I'm guessing it's not just about writing a to-do list.
It's way bigger than that. It's about figuring out, like, what gives your life meaning and purpose.
Ooh.
Think of it as your North Star, It'll guide you through those dopamine dips and help you stay focused on the things that matter most.
Okay, I'm starting to see how this all ties back to ADHD. If you're easily distracted, having a clear sense of purpose could help you stay on track, right?
Exactly. It's like having this powerful internal motivator that helps you resist those quick dopamine hits
Okay.
and really focus on the big picture.
So how do you actually find your mission? Is there like a step-by-step guide or something?
The video doesn't give a strict formula, but it does offer some really helpful suggestions.
Okay.
It talks about taking personality tests, like the MBTI, for
Oh,
example.
yeah, I've heard of those. But how does knowing whether you're an introvert or an extrovert help you find your mission?
Well, it's not just about labels, right? It's
Hmm.
about gaining self-awareness.
Okay.
These tests can give you insights into how you process information, make decisions, and interact with the world. And that self-knowledge, that can be incredibly valuable when you're trying to figure out what path to take.
That makes sense. It's like having a map of your own internal landscape. But it can't just be about taking a test, right?
Absolutely not. The video really emphasizes reflecting on your values.
Right.
What truly matters to you? What kind of impact do you want to have on the world? And it encourages you to think about your unique skills and talents. What are you naturally good at? What do you enjoy doing?
I guess it's about figuring out where your passions and your strengths kind of intersect.
Exactly. There's this beautiful Japanese concept called ikigai that captures this perfectly. It's about finding that sweet spot where what you love, what you're good at, what the world needs, and what you can get paid for all come together.
Wow, ikigai. I love that. It's like a Venn diagram of a fulfilling life.
I think that's a great way to put it. And what's so fascinating is that the video suggests that the same dopamine deficiency that makes life so challenging for people with ADHD can also be their secret weapon for success when it comes to finding their mission.
Wait, really? How does that work?
Well, remember how we talked about those intense dopamine highs?
Yeah.
When someone with ADHD finds something they're truly passionate about, something that aligns with their mission, they can tap into like these incredible levels of focus and drive that most people can only dream of.
So it's like all that scattered energy gets channeled into this laser-like focus.
Precisely. It's like the difference between a garden hose spraying water everywhere and a fire hose,
Yeah.
with a powerful directed stream. And that kind of intense focus, it can be a real game changer when it comes to achieving goals and making a real impact.
That's pretty amazing. So finding your mission isn't just about feeling good. It's about unlocking your full potential and making a difference in the world.
Exactly. And, the video creator even shares their own personal story of how finding their mission helped them overcome the challenges of ADHD
Oh, wow.
and achieve success as a content creator.
That's really inspiring. It shows that it's possible to turn what might seem like a limitation into a strength.
Absolutely. It highlights the importance of self-awareness, resilience, and a willingness to embrace your unique neurodiversity.
This is all super inspiring, but I have to admit, I'm starting to feel a little overwhelmed. Finding your mission sounds like a lot of work.
I hear you. It can definitely feel daunting,
Yeah.
especially if you're not used to introspection or really thinking about your values and purpose. But the beauty of it is that it's a journey.
Right.
It's not a destination.
So it's not about having all the answers right away. It's about being open to exploring and discovering like what lights you up.
Exactly. And being patient with yourself along the way. There will be moments of clarity and moments of doubt, but even the moments of doubt can be valuable
Huh.
because they can lead to deeper insights and a more authentic sense of purpose.
That's reassuring. It makes it feel like less like pressure and more like an exciting adventure. But let's be real for a sec.
Yeah,
It's easy to get caught up in the big picture and forget about the day-to-day challenges of living with ADHD.
absolutely. That's why the video offers some really practical advice for managing those everyday struggles.
Oh,
One of the key points it emphasizes is the importance of creating an environment that supports your goals.
so it's not just about willpower.
No,
It's about setting yourself up for success.
exactly. Think
Yeah.
about it. If your phone is constantly buzzing with notifications, it's going to be so much harder to resist that temptation,
Right.
even if you know it's not ultimately serving you. The video talks about minimizing those uh, bad dopamine triggers by making those distractions less accessible.
Yeah, okay.
It's like putting the cookies on the highest shelf,
Yeah.
so you're less likely to just mindlessly grab them.
Out of sight, out of mind. Right. I can definitely see how that would be helpful, but it can't just be about avoiding temptation.
Right. It's also about proactively adding more of those good dopamine activities into your life and making those activities, easy and enjoyable to do.
Right.
So, for example, if you want to read more, keep a book by your bed or in your bag. If you want to exercise more, lay out your workout clothes the night before.
It's like setting yourself up for a win, like removing the barriers.
Exactly. And it's not just about the physical environment, it's also about your social environment.
Oh, okay.
The video talks about the importance of surrounding yourself with people who understand and accept you for who you are, ADHD, because let's face it, not everyone gets it.
Yeah, sometimes it feels like you have to explain yourself constantly.
Right.
Like you're, apologizing for being different.
Exactly. And that can be so emotionally draining. Having a supportive network of friends, family, or even like an online community can make a world of difference. It's about having a safe space to share your struggles, celebrate your wins, and receive encouragement when you need it most.
It's like having a cheering squad for your brain. So we've talked about environment and support. What other practical tips does the video offer?
One of the things that it really emphasizes is the importance of self-compassion. It reminds viewers that ADHD is a neurological condition, not a character flaw,
Right.
and that it's okay to have bad days.
That's such a crucial reminder. It's so easy to get caught up in self-criticism, especially when you're struggling with focus and motivation.
Absolutely. The video encourages viewers to practice self-forgiveness and to view setbacks as like learning opportunities rather than failures. It's about recognizing that progress isn't always linear and there will be ups and downs along the way.
So it's not about beating yourself up when you mess up. It's about learning from those experiences and moving forward with kindness and understanding.
Yeah, exactly. And, this actually ties back to what we were talking about earlier with winning the morning.
Oh, okay.
Those small wins, like making the bed, can be a great way to practice self-compassion.
Yeah.
It's like saying to yourself, hey, I did something good today. I'm on the right track.
I love that. It's like those small actions build momentum, not just for your day, but for your overall sense of self-worth.
Exactly. And speaking of support, the video also highlights the importance of seeking professional help when needed.
Oh, okay.
It talks about the benefits of finding a therapist or a coach who specializes in ADHD.
I guess it makes sense that having someone who understands the unique challenges of ADHD could be incredibly helpful.
Absolutely. It's like having a personal trainer for your brain.
Dig that.
A therapist or coach can help you develop coping mechanisms, learn new strategies, and receive personalized support that's tailored to your specific needs. They can help you identify your strengths, navigate your challenges, and create, a plan for success.
It's like having a guide on your journey to unlock your ADHD superpowers.
I love that analogy.
Yeah.
And yeah, the video emphasizes that managing ADHD is not about trying to fix yourself
Right.
or become someone you're not.
Yeah.
It's about learning to work with your unique brain wiring and leveraging your strengths to achieve your goals.
So it's not about suppressing your ADHD, it's about understanding it, like making it work for you.
Exactly. It's
Yeah.
about embracing your neurodiversity
Yeah.
and recognizing that what makes you different also makes you extraordinary.
It's funny, when people usually talk about ADHD,
Yeah.
it's all about the struggles.
Right.
But this whole idea of reframing it as superpower, that's like a real game changer.
It really is. It's a powerful shift in perspective,
Hmm.
and I think it can be incredibly empowering for people with ADHD.
Yeah.
It's about recognizing that the same traits that can create challenges can also be sources of, like, incredible strength and creativity.
So it's not about denying the difficulties, it's about finding ways to leverage those unique qualities to your advantage.
Exactly. And, one of the things that really stood out to me in the video was the discussion of people-pleasing
Oh,
and how that can be especially draining for people with ADHD. It suggests that learning to say no and prioritize your own needs is crucial for managing dopamine and finding true fulfillment.
That makes a lot of sense. I can see how constantly seeking external validation could lead to burnout,
Oh, yeah.
especially if your internal reward system is already a bit, wonky.
Yeah, it's like
Uh,
you're constantly chasing that dopamine hit from other people's approval instead of finding it from within yourself. And that can be like a recipe for exhaustion and resentment.
so it's not about becoming selfish. It's about recognizing that you have needs too, and that it's okay to set boundaries to protect your energy and well-being.
Exactly. It's about learning to value yourself and your time and recognizing that saying no sometimes is a form of self-care.
So we've talked about reframing ADHD as a superpower, finding your mission, creating supportive environments, and practicing self-compassion. What other nuggets of wisdom did you glean from this deep dive?
Well, one thing that really resonated with me was the emphasis on finding joy in the process. It's not just about, achieving goals. It's about enjoying the journey along the way.
I love that. It's so easy to get caught up in the hustle and forget to appreciate the little things.
Exactly. It's about savoring those moments of flow, those activities that make you lose track of time and feel like fully engaged. It's about celebrating your unique strengths and finding ways to make your ADHD work for you, not against you. And it's about remembering that life is meant to be enjoyed, not just endured.
Well said. I think that's a perfect note to end on. This has been such an enlightening deep dive. We started by exploring the idea of ADHD as a superpower and ended up uncovering all sorts of wisdom about dopamine, motivation, purpose, and self care.
And I think what's so remarkable is that even though we were focusing on ADHD, so many of these insights can apply to anyone, who wants to live a more fulfilling and meaningful life.
Absolutely. Whether you have ADHD or not, understanding how your brain works, finding your mission, and creating supportive environments can help you unlock your full potential and live a life that truly lights you up.
So to all our listeners out there, I encourage you to embrace your unique neurodiversity, celebrate your strengths, and never stop exploring what makes you you.
And remember, it's never too late to start living a life that feels aligned with your values and your purpose.
Until next time, keep diving deep.